no evidence. They don't have nothing. They know they don't have nothing. Can't even place me out here. And they don't have no gun, no car, no Keefe D, no nothing. No, everybody on video but Keefe D. You know what I'm saying? This is wrong, man.
Prosecutors declined to respond directly to Davis's new claims. They say their case is strong, and they expect a conviction. Keefe D, emotional about his life behind bars and time away from his grandchildren.
Yeah, I thought I was going to college with my grandkids. You know, they're pretty good athletes. You know, 18 years later, you know what I'm saying, I did everything they asked me to do. Get new friends, stop selling drugs. I shouldn't have said nothing, you know what I'm saying? Shouldn't have said nothing. And I'm innocent, man. And God got my back, and God will see me through this.
What do I think about Keefe D's arrest? I believe Keefe D is a mule. I believe he's a mule. Even if he was involved, Keefe D is a mule. Tupac was assassinated nearly 30 years ago. So was Big. We already know that both of them were under FBI surveillance before their murder. If you're under FBI surveillance, you know what that means? The FBI know who shot you. They know who shot you. I remember, they know who shot you. So them arresting Keefe D 27 years later, in my opinion, I don't believe this is about Keefe D. I believe they're going to make Keefe D the fall guy. He was involved, but he wasn't alone. This was a very highly organized, orchestrated hit. Tupac's and Big's. I believe they're going to make Keefe D the fall guy to shut the door on the case before any additional evidence is brought forward that could implicate anyone who is still living, because there's no statute of limitations on murder. So to protect everybody else, we're going to make Keefe D the fall guy so we can say we solved the murder, it's over, and we don't have to worry about people continually to dig this up and try to find out who's really behind it. So Keefe D is going to be made the fall guy.
Something like that, yeah.
And Orlando is the shooter. He's the known shooter. I mean, everybody know Orlando Anderson was a shooter. So Dre got cold feet. He didn't want to do it. He gave the gun to Orlando, and Orlando shot Tupac and Suge.
Yeah, he did his thing, yeah.
Big Dre, at the time of this Tupac murder, I was investigating him on a murder. Was with Orlando Anderson. They were at a party, and they had a dispute out front. Orlando Anderson actually hit this guy over the head with a gun. I think his clip fell out. So they're about ready to get him, and Big Dre stepped in and popped this guy right in the head.
Okay, so what was Tupac and Suge's reaction when Orlando started shooting up the BMW?
Oh, shit. Suge just ducked his head, and the first bullet went in his head, then the next one's hit him. It was like he was doing a breakdance trying to jump in the back seat or something. Yeah. Like, damn. Yeah, what the fuck? It looked like he was trying to jump in the, but it was, the bullets was in his ass.
And you said Tupac tried to jump in the back seat.
It looked like he was,
when y'all start shooting,
he was reaching, and it looked like, yeah, he was trying to jump in the back seat or something. He was like breakdancing or some shit.
Keefe D wrote a book.
Yeah.
Which I got a copy of.
Yeah.
He talks about that incident.
Okay.
The biggest thing he said that shocked me and everyone around me who read the book was he claimed that when they pulled up alongside Tupac on that Vegas Strip, that Tupac reached for his own gun and tried to point it at him.
Why do you think he said that?
Well, I'll get into
I'll tell you why I think he said that.
I'll get into my reasons. Okay, well, number one, before we get into the reasons of why he said that, is there any truth in that from your point of view? Were you actually there?
I wasn't, no.
You weren't.
But I ain't done talked to everybody associated to that. That's hip hop. But from a law enforcement point of view, from a street dude point of view, or whatever you want to call me, setting up my self-defense. I'm over here telling this whole story. Shit, as a writer, wait a minute, I got to set up my self-defense claim. Pop pointing a gun at me. And if Las Vegas ever decided to prosecute me and come at me, Shit, self-defense.
Self-defense.
His co-author for the book, Yusef Jah, had asked me to actually write like a little intro or a little blurb for on the book, so it shows up on the cover, or on the inside cover or the back cover. You know how sometimes you get a book and they have someone say, "Oh, this book is amazing," and so I said, "All right, send me a copy of the book." This is before the book came out. So he sent me the PDF, and I'm reading the book, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. I'm reading. Then I get to the part where he talks about shooting Pac, killing Pac. And he put a part in there where he said Pac had a gun. And once I got to that page, I put the book down. I said, there is no way on God's green earth I am going to co-sign this book.
Me and Keefe D played on the same Pop Warner football team. And whatever the circumstances, if he had an involvement with anything, if he didn't have any involvement with anything, who want to see, I wouldn't wish somebody going to prison on my worst enemy.
The DA says that Keefe D was in the car with his nephew, and that presumably his nephew, according to the DA, is the one that shot Tupac, and that it was done with the full knowledge of Keefe. Do they have it right?
It was only two people in the car. And Pac not going to tell the story. I ain't going to tell the story, but I tell you this. And I never had nothing bad to say about Orlando because, number one, he wasn't a shooter. Number two, he came to my hearing and told to let me go and told the truth. They still didn't let me go.
If you are called to testify in this case?
I wouldn't be.
Why not?
Yeah, I wouldn't be.
Why not?
Well, number one, because I'm not going to get on the stand and testify on somebody for what?
They seem to be saying that Orlando was the shooter and Keefe was in on it, that he had full knowledge of what was going down, and it was revenge for Orlando getting beaten up by Tupac and his team at the MGM after the Tyson fight. Is that correct?
No.
Then who shot Tupac?
It wasn't Innocence, so that's all I got to say about that part.
To summarize, you are saying Orlando was not the shooter, although you won't say who the shooter was. You are not saying whether Keefe was involved in any way in the shooting, and you are saying that if you're called to testify by either side, you will not comply, you will not testify. Do I have that right?
1,000%. I wouldn't go, I wouldn't testify, none of that.
I've been thinking, maybe I'm like scapegoat or something. I just want to let everybody know, what I'm saying, I didn't do it.
Gaddafi came up to me and Gaddafi said, "Low." I said, "What happened?" Gaddafi said, "Low, it was a white Cadillac." And he said, "Man, it was a light-skinned dude, looked something like you." Low stuck his hand out the window, started busting.
I'm innocent. I ain't killed nobody, never did ever kill nobody. They don't have no evidence against me. Came and put me in Las Vegas. Prove that I orchestrated this. You know what I'm saying? Your key witness orchestrated this. They top witness is the lead suspect.
The defense pointing to someone else, Reggie Wright Jr., a former cop and security guard for record mogul Suge Knight, who was driving the car Tupac was in the night he was shot. Wright has denied any involvement and has said, "It bothers me because I was in charge of possibly protecting this young man."
So you believe Tupac and Biggie murder was in-house?
I believe Biggie and Tupac was in-house. All had something to do with death row people.
That's a very strong comment to make, man.
Listen, it came from their own mouth. DJ Quick. I think they got one of them bad boy niggas. They said they was gonna get him. Who was they? Had to be Death Row. Somebody affiliated with them. Somebody he was around there. Who Pac had problems with? People at Death Row. He was firing people. Suge was firing people. He didn't want to deal with them no more. Wasn't nobody from Bad Boy that killed Pac. Nah. Not at all. Now, if Wolf was out there and his crew like he wanted to, it's a possibility that any of that could happen. But that wasn't, man, listen here, man. You can't, listen to me. There's no way, bro. There's no way that I'm going to have a convoy of cars and somebody's going to ride up to my principal and kill them. There's no way, unless it's in-house.
For some weird reason, Warren G tells the story how Snoop had a walkie-talkie.
Okay.
And he could hear what was going on in Vegas the night Pac and them got shot. He told that story on Drink Champs. Not only that, Daz, Corrupt, Badass, all tell the story how Snoop told everybody, we not going to Vegas. Nate Dogg too. Nobody go Vegas, right? They didn't tell Suge and them they wasn't going to Vegas. Snoop is telling his crew, we not going to Vegas. Nate Dogg like, F you, dog, I'm going. He like, yo, well, be careful, don't go, right? He wound up going, right? But Snoop told everybody not to go. Why? Right? Boom. Orlando Anderson has a fight in the MGM Grand, right? Reggie is the one that's out here telling the story about they had a fight at the Lakewood Mall over a bounty for the Death Row chains, right? You ask anybody, Suge, anybody out there, were there a bounty on Death Row chains? No, there wasn't, right? That was the alibi for the setup for Tupac's murder.
I believe it was conspiracy. That's why there's all this confusion.
Amen. Amen.
You know, it was meant to be confusing. You dig? So it wasn't no accident. Even if I would have different feelings, even if it was, you know, some straight up gang bang gangster shit. And I don't think it was that.
Shout out to Keefe D. Stop pump faking and save your life. And tell them who paid you to say the shit that you said. Because you getting poked up and getting your ass beat in jail. And Reggie Wright got you tailor-made to fit for a goddamn casket. I met your son, Keefe. He's a good man. He follows me on TikTok. He made me change my mind about you. 6 months ago, I ain't getting no fuck what happened to you. Today, I'm praying for your life. Every day. Because I want you to live to tell the truth.
All right, let's talk about it. They arrested Keefe D today for unknown charges to Tupac murder. You know why they saying unknown charges? Because first they trying to see how the public about to respond to this BS. So, let's get it clear. Keefe D is a Judas. If you ain't seen the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, go watch that. It's about Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. The Judas is the dude who the FBI put in the Black Panther to sabotage them and to help the FBI assassinate Chairman Fred Hampton. Now, under the counterintelligence program, this was going on way before Tupac was even born. Go watch the Dear Mama series. Afeni Shakur was being targeted by the FBI. Mutulu Shakur was being targeted by the FBI. What a lot of people don't know is they was part of Malcolm X chapter in New York. But that ain't why I'm here. I'm here about this Keefe D bullshit. Now don't get it twisted. I ain't never trying to protect Keefe D or P. Diddy or anybody who actually did this murder. It's some people within our government that's real evil and real sinister. And they know people ain't letting this Tupac thing go. And obviously the hip-hop police, who was sanctioned by the feds, they was there when Pac was killed. They was there when Big was killed. They know who the shooter is. They didn't pursue him because they was in on it. They been having black men killed. It's a fact that they had Chairman Fred Hampton assassinated. The FBI and the Chicago Police Department. So all this Keefe D killed Tupac, man, quit playing. Quit playing.
Keefe D said, I wasn't the one that killed Tupac. Orlando was.
And Orlando's not here no more, so.
What witness do you have to place him at the scene and say, yeah, I saw him do this? Suge Knight is saying, man, he ain't the shooter. Suge Knight is a victim of the crime. He's already made a public statement saying he's not the shooter. One of the niggas in the back seat said, man, it was a big yellow, in one of the cars said it was a big yellow arm that came out the window. Come on, my nigga. This fit this dog and pony show. This the new OJ trial. We have one every 10 years. Last one was when OJ went for the robbery. Yeah. Come on, homie, they playing on us, my nigga.
Keefe D, I know we covered this before, but Keefe D is sticking to his guns and saying that Reggie Wright Sr. and Reynolds accompanied Suge to meet with Orlando Anderson after the Vegas incident to, give him a check so that he would drop his lawsuit against the Tupac estate and would also, testify in Suge's case. I know you've said otherwise, but can you tell me again your thoughts on him sticking to this story?
Yeah, well, number one, because that's what he said in his immunity agreement, so he got to stick to that. Because they catch him in a lie, they could pull the agreement. They catch you in one lie when you have what they call a queen for the day, then it all gets unraveled. So he better stick to that story. But maybe he's not lying. Maybe he honestly believed that. I don't know how he could, because they were hiding in bushes. If y'all listen to what Orlando said or somebody said in the interview, they were hiding in bushes because they didn't want us to see that they were there. But it wasn't Reggie Sr. and Fred. It was myself, Norris Anderson, and David Kenner was there to meet with Edie Falk. I done told this story way before Keefe D even started doing the interviews. So why would Reggie be having to lie to cover and all that? I don't know. But hey, that's Keefe. That's Keefe D's story. Maybe he was mistaken. But like I keep telling y'all, we didn't really know Keefe like that. Y'all want to think Keefe this big keen tut dude in Compton. Keefe was in prison most of the time. And then when he wasn't, he was a dope head. Nigga was on drugs. Him and his boy was, I even heard him try to say I got him mixed up with somebody. No, nigga, I ain't got him mixed up with nobody. Nigga, you was a smoker. Anybody from the hood that's tell me that you wasn't a smoker prior to going to prison and getting hooked up with the Colombian, they a motherfucking lie.
A lot of people have died that were directly or indirectly linked to this investigation.
Do you see how this operates? From one side, they're feeding Vegas all this disinformation, and the other side is obstructing the investigation and telling people to avoid the police.
It was worth it. You know all they did, right? No. Okay. They recommend you don't get subpoenaed, whatever that's worth. I don't know what it means, but that's what they told me to tell you. Who told you to tell me that? Okay, Reggie told me to tell you that, but he told me not to tell you that he said it. Now, he said, don't get subpoenaed, whatever you do.
Why is it that after the shooting occurred that you basically asked Frank Alexander to retell a narrative? I have the recorded phone calls, and to not get subpoenaed.
To not get subpoenaed? I was telling him to get subpoenaed. I wanted him to come to court. If you can get lost and not get subpoenaed today, I think you'll be fine. Yeah, Reggie.
But Suge wrote me a letter, which the FBI got. It was like nobody had told him anything I was out there doing. And I came and saw him, and he was like, man, I thought you abandoned me. You know, nobody's telling me anything about you.
It's kind of hard to believe that Knight felt abandoned, being as how Reggie visited him almost 200 documented times in prison.
You'd have to go through death row records or whomever to try and locate him. Classic example, we ended up getting a lot of press about how Malcolm Greenidge said he could identify the shooter. We finally tracked him down to set up a re-interview, and he says, I'm not going to look at any photos because I can't identify him. Yeah, we got beat up in the LA Times over that. You know? And I'm thinking, okay, put up or shut up, Ace. And, well, but again, Reggie Wright Jr. is the one that brought him to that interview.
I don't think Vegas understood how crooked death row was at that point, so they believed these Compton guys. You know, Brennan was saying good things about both Wrights, so Vegas trusted them.
Tupac Shakur, I think I'd heard the name before the night he was shot, but I knew nothing of the person.
Russ Poole called it a false flag operation, and I don't see how you could call it anything else, especially if it's true that Reggie Wright Jr. was informing for the FBI and the LAPD. Was he also informing for Vegas? I mean, this is Knight's right-hand guy, and he's straight up snitching to law enforcement.
I'm a retired FBI agent, and I'm here today to talk about the Tupac Shakur murder and the investigation that followed.
The problem I have is when you or others just blurt things out to try to promote a certain narrative and are factually incorrect. They're wrong.
Let me speak a little bit about Reggie Wright Jr. Reggie's made it very clear in a lot of interviews that he went from never working for the FBI to working for Dan McMullen, for working for L.J. Conley, who was my partner, and that he was an FBI foreman. So I'm not saying anything right now regarding Reggie Wright Jr. that he hasn't already said a million times over on a documentary or on a podcast or any type of interview. Yes, Reggie was working with the FBI. Yes, Reggie was working with the FBI.
Go ahead, Reggie.
Why didn't you ever come knocking on my door and talk to me? You saw the 302s on me before, right? You know that I was an open book, cooperate. You know that I was an open book, cooperate. You know that I was an open book, cooperate. Why you never came and just said, hey, Reggie, I want to talk to you about these things.
You want me to answer?
You know, I knew.
You want me to answer? Hold on. Oh, Reggie, if that's your question, do you want me to honestly answer it?
I've done my best to try to help Reggie cover for himself, tell him when to keep his mouth shut, and Reggie just goes on and on and on. I've done my best to try to help Reggie cover for himself, tell him when to keep his mouth shut, and Reggie just goes on and on and on.
To me, it's like everybody's scared of the government, you know what I'm saying? Because they killed Tupac and they killed Biggie Smalls.
My recruitment by the FBI was very efficient, very simple, really. I'd stolen a car and went joyriding over the state limit, and they had a potential case against me, and I was looking for an opportunity to work it off. And a couple of months later, that opportunity came when FBI agent Roy Mitchell asked me to go down to the local office of the Black Panther Party and try to gain membership.
Kevin Hackey is an FBI agent that was working for the FBI, also was working for Death Row. Death Row didn't know that he was undercover agent for the FBI, and he said after Tupac Shakur's death that Suge Knight and Reggie Wright Jr. are responsible for the murder of Tupac Shakur.
I'm offering Reggie right now $100K to take a polygraph. That he had no involvement whatsoever to do with Tupac's killing.
Hackey, according to these court filings, worked for 2 years as an undercover agent for the FBI and ATF, helping the feds.
To investigate Marion Knight and Death Row Records for racketeering violations.
And Hackey, a former Compton School District police officer who worked off-duty hours as a Tupac bodyguard, now reveals to Fox 11 News an interesting series of events. He says, here at the House of Blues in 1996, an off-duty Santa Monica cop working security confiscated a .40 caliber Glock handgun similar to this from a member of Tupac Shakur's entourage.
About 2 weeks after that, I was contacted by Reggie to go over to Santa Monica Police Department to pick up this firearm.
Hackey says he first showed the handgun to his FBI handlers and then turned it over to Reggie Wright Jr. A month later in Las Vegas, investigators say it was a .40 Glock handgun that killed Tupac Shakur. Hackey believes the murder weapon was the same gun he gave Reggie Wright Jr.
I believe it is.
And Hackey says 6 months after Tupac's murder, he had another conversation with Reggie Jr. about the missing handgun. It didn't go well.
Reggie told me, hey, it ain't given time. I have the money, I have the people, I can have you killed, it ain't given time.
Pac would have went down in history, arguably, had he gotten his mind right in time, he could have arguably went down in history as the greatest revolutionary to ever walk American soil. Greater than Malcolm, greater than King, greater than Huey, because he had the money, he had the presence, and he had the followers. The Panthers had the numbers, but they didn't have the money. Black liberation had the soldiers. They didn't have the money or the platform. Tupac had the money, the platform, in the spirit. He had to go.
Look, we need to stop looking at the Keefe D situation on the surface, because the deeper you dig into this 1996 Vegas investigation, the more the entire official narrative starts looking like a scripted play. Everyone is focusing on Keefe D's upcoming trial, but nobody is looking at the chess pieces moving in the background. This is some crazy stuff right here, and it's time to unpack the real chess match. His defense team has been trying everything to get his 2019 memoir, Compton Street Legend, thrown out of court. Their whole argument, Keefe D didn't even write it. The book was physically put together by LA author Yusuf Ja. The defense is literally in court arguing that the book is just exaggerated entertainment, a cash grab full of unverified stories meant for clout. But Nevada Judge Carly Kearney just completely shut that down. The court ruled the book is admissible. Why? Because Keefe D went on a massive media run sitting down with Vlad TV, Bet, and every podcast that would hand him a mic, publicly bragging that the book was his absolute, authentic truth. Legally, he adopted those words as his own. He talked himself right into an indictment. But here is where the story takes a dark, messy turn. If Keefe D is the one taking the fall, how did former Death Row Security Chief Reggie Wright Jr. get off the hook completely? Think about the recorded audio that made the rounds from former FBI agent Phil Carson. You literally have the feds putting it on the record that Reggie was a classified FBI informant. In these files and conversations, the reality of cooperation is right there in the open, and it gets deeper. Look at who Reggie brought into the fold. He hired Kevin Hackey, a former Compton cop, to handle security. Hackey ended up testifying under oath during the notorious B.I.G. wrongful death lawsuit that he was actively working as an FBI informant the entire 3 years. He was bodyguarding the camp. Let that sink in for a second. An active federal informant was bodyguarding Tupac. Pac came from revolutionary royalty, his mother Afeni, his stepfather Mutulu, his godfather Geronimo Pratt. They were high-ranking Black Panthers. Panthers and feds do not mix, period. It's a historical oil and water situation, and it is a massive, blinding red flag. There is a very high probability that the leadership knew exactly who they were bringing into the circle. Why put a known asset next to Pac? Was it to feed the feds information, protect the label's own interests, or help steer an ongoing federal investigation into the camp? Whatever the motive, the security around the biggest rapper in the world was compromised by design. When you look at the landscape clearly, Keefe D is starting to look less like a mastermind and more like the ultimate fall guy. Don't forget, Keefe D has been alleged to have his own history of proffer agreements and informant status dating back to his drug kingpin days. If everyone in this circle has a history of talking to the state, you have to ask a critical question. Was Keefe D coached to say some of the exact things he said during those infamous interviews? Was he fed a specific narrative to close a decades-old cold case while the real institutional players walked away clean? The mainstream media wants you to believe it's an open and shut case of street karma. But when you strip away the bias and look strictly at the documentation, the official story completely falls apart. We are deep dealing with an entire matrix of state actors, handlers, and control narratives designed to keep the real history buried. You have to stop looking at this through the lens of standard narratives and start looking at the paperwork. If you want the unfiltered truth behind the West Coast timeline, you have to question the stories they hand you. Drop a comment below with your thoughts on this setup. Hit that subscribe button to stay locked in. And don't take anything at face value. Stay sharp, think for yourself, and I'll catch you on the next one.